What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Roxette. And we're going to listen to the third of 3 tunes on the ballad and pop hits, which I understand now were like 2 different releases. In any case, we're going to listen to the last of the 3 tunes, which apparently are the ones that I had not yet reacted to. Thank you, as always, to Michaela, as well as other people who've contributed to this larger deep dive. But yes, it's Opportunity Knocks, and Knox is spelled phonetically N-O-X. So I do wonder if there's something to that, or if it's just being a bit playful and cheeky with the spelling of the title. But yeah, this is a phrase, when spelled more traditionally, let's say, that means certain circumstances will obtain or come into being where there's a possibility to do something, but generally speaking, that's a finite window, and thus when opportunity knocks, you either answer, open the door, if you will, or you'll miss that chance, and the possibility and the opportunity will evaporate or move on. And so in that regard, I wonder if that's the essence, the carpe diem sentiment, gather ye rosebuds while ye may. And in that regard also, I do wonder whether this is another tune which is in the, let's say, romantic or interpersonal emotions type of environment or theme. Now, of course, opportunity can knock professionally or socially or in terms of personal growth. So there could be all sorts of different contexts in which the phrase might be relevant. But to be honest, a lot of Roxette tunes do seem to be about emotions related to relationships or romance or intimacy, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is the domain that this phrase operates in. Though maybe I'm less inclined to think that with the N-O-X spelling. It feels like a bit lighter and not something where it would be kind of a heavy emotional rendering of the phrase. I will stop talking and we will listen to the tune. This is Roxette. The song is Opportunity Knocks, and it's from the pop hits part of this larger folder that I'm working from, which again is like the ballad hits plus the pop hits. Woof.
Well, I liked you. I couldn't think of anything but you. For a week I was in love with your hairdo. I couldn't chew the smart things I used to. I knew I was way over the moon. When I met you, I didn't know what to do. When I saw you, you said, I'm living in a box, but I'm out when opportunity knocks. I'm living in a box, but I'm out when opportunity knocks. I'm dying in a box, but I'm out when opportunity knocks. I'm sleeping and I'm dreaming so low. I saw you in the crowd in the front row. You couldn't get it right at the disco. You're dancing so much better in slow-mo. When I met you, I didn't know what to do. When I saw you, when I saw you, I said, I'm living in a box, but I'm out when opportunity knocks. I'm living in a box, but I'm out when opportunity knocks. I'm
That's a winner in my book. I love that. So, first of all, the sonics are what really stand out to me. It has this kind of electro slash electronica vibe, of course, and even some of the vocals, especially at the very beginning, sounded like they had that vocoder effect on them where they sounded a bit digitized. And yet it also still has a bit of a synth rock sound, especially when the guitar really comes to the fore and flourishes, like, I don't know, about 2/3 into the track. And then I'd also maybe call it synth dance. Now, it's very fast, like, I said electro. Electro isn't typically that fast, so I'm intrigued by the combination of stylings here, but definitely it's pacey, and I enjoy the kick drum. It was really driving, and it definitely makes me want to dance on the dance floor, and perhaps better than the subject of the narrator's attention and seemingly affection when she is dancing on the disco floor, which apparently she didn't quite get right, but she looks better dancing in slow-mo. But yeah, so to get to the lyrics, it sounds like the narrator is very fixated on this person, and I wonder, because he's saying like when he saw her in the first row, so it feels like this is from the point of view of a musician or someone who's up on stage, but someone's face or their persona in the crowd catches their eye, and then as the narrator says, he didn't know what to do. It's like, everything else in his mind kind of burned away, and he has this focus and fixation on them to the point where he's kind of off his game, but it sounds like he's very interested and he wants to see her dance or do more things to be near her, to be with her maybe. So yeah, it feels like someone who is like so like has such magnetism or such allure, such energy or vibrancy that it actually is a bit disorienting to the narrator, but that he is again very interested. And yeah, there's a bit of comedy to the lines, a couple lines in particular, like, oh, I'm so like focused on your hairdo, which is interesting, though of course sometimes you do see someone who's like, oh wow, it's an interesting haircut, or I like that haircut. So like it's both a real world kind of thing and yet also like silly, because you're thinking, oh, it's like, wow, they're like so interesting, or the way they move, or they have a beautiful face, and it's like, oh, actually I'm keyed in on your haircut. But yes, again, the idea like that they were on the disco dance floor and like didn't quite get it right, that's also a bit funny, because normally in a song where you're super focused on someone, it's like, everything they do is mesmerizing, whereas here it's like, wow, it's incredible, whatever, like, you didn't quite get this right, and I'm not sure about that, you look better when you're dancing in slow-mo. So yeah, it felt a bit funny. Again, Pear's vocals I think work well on this, and coming from his male voice, I'm imagining a female. I don't think that's explicitly clear, though it seems the most likely interpretation. And then it is interesting, though, because it felt like the ooh vocals in the chorus, which are like, it seems like it's a, and then I said this when I first saw you, and then it's like a female vocal comes in. So I assume that's Marie, but either way, a really catchy tune, and one with definitely an electronic vibe. Less like center lane wheelhouse Roxette sound, and yet, again, reminding me maybe of some of the tunes on Have a Nice Day. But yes, a top tune in my book, and definitely one that speaks to some of the electronic stylings that of course I enjoy. So let me know what you think of this one, and the Sleeping Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.